The President believes strongly that our nation's success depends on education of our students, and Betsy DeVos has devoted nearly 3 decades of her time and talent to promoting educational opportunity. As Secretary, she will ensure that every student has access to a good school, whether it's public, private, parochial, charter, or any other kind. The fact that we had to get to the point where the Vice President had to be pulled in to overcome the Democrats' historic and partisan logjam of the President's qualified nominee is another glaring reminder of the unprecedented obstruction that Senate Democrats have engaged in throughout this process. The American people sent a strong message when they elected President Trump in November. They're fed up with business as usual in Washington. Democrats in the Senate should expect that voters will remember how they stood in the way of the President enacting an agenda that put him into office. Last week, I noted the President had a fair amount of cabinet-level appointees awaiting a full vote by the Senate. We're looking forward to seeing more of the President's pick to lead agencies and departments confirmed in the upcoming week, despite these childish tactics of the Democrats in the Senate, who would rather keep the failed status quo than allowing to put the President's people in place. Access, Real Clear Politics.
So, Sean, I have 2 questions for
Yep.
you. You were mentioning that voters are going to remember how senators voted on the President's cabinet nominees. 2 Republicans voted against Betsy DeVos, Senators Collins and Murkowski. Did the President reach out to either of them, and will he not forget what Republicans did in that particular nominee situation?
I think that, look, the President's been very clear. It's not Republicans that have stood in the way of this nomination of all of these qualified individuals. It's been Democrats that have stalled over and over again, not attending hearings, trying to use every delay tactic possible. It's those people that have a problem, and I think that's the message that the party has missed on the Democratic side, which and I don't think that, wouldn't paint that with a broad brush, because I think it's Senate Democrats, frankly, that haven't gotten the message.
But you haven't reached out to them.
Our team has been in contact with the entire Senate team to make sure that they understand and that they've had visits as requested. But we have been in constant contact with the Senate, the members of the Senate, their staffs. Our legislative affairs team has had an extremely robust schedule of meetings with their teams to make these nominees available to them. But I think the broader issue, again, and with all due respect, I think it's interesting that we're focusing on the votes of 2 Republicans when you look at the spectrum of antics that have gone on in the Democrats. I mean, the tactics that they have done over and over and over again to delay, not show up to hearings, do filibuster to the extent that they can, run the clock out. It's not Republicans that have a problem here, Alexis. It's the Democrats that continue to do this.
Can you clarify 2 things? One,
Sure.
Secretary Kelly, when he was on the Hill today, said that the administration right now is not looking at adding other countries to this temporary travel ban list. Is the White House still giving itself room to add some countries to that list?
Well, I think what his point was is that right now he's not doing it. You have to look at his testimony in context. I think he went through the fact that we're still in this review process. That he is committed to making sure that we look at all other countries. But as of this moment, that there is no immediate desire to add to that. But he is looking at all of the other countries, the procedures that we have with them, the systems we have in place to check them. And so nothing is final until the end of the review period.
But I had a second question.
I'm sorry.
So you said still leaving room to do that. Something that the President continues to say as a phrase, and I'm hoping you can define it for us, is that this is about testing who truly loves America and making sure that those enter the country are those who truly love America. How do you quantify that? What is the President thinking of? Is that a specific test? What does that mean?
No, I mean, look, I think the President's, goal is to make sure that people aren't coming here to do us harm, that they're going through the proper extreme vetting in cases where we don't have the information required to make a good judgment on them based on what their country is willing to provide, that we are taking the proper and necessary steps to protect our people. But he doesn't, if someone's coming here to do us harm or to espouse things that would give us a good indication that they're not coming here for the right reasons, then we need to do everything we can to A, vet them, and B, unless we're 100% certain, keep them out of the country.
It's a background check.
It's a background check, but again, I wouldn't just, it's not. I mean, it is, to the extent that we can, it's going to be extreme vetting is what he's talked about, that it's not going to be just letting someone in on a quick check. If there's any cause for concern, He wants to go to every step possible to make sure that people who are entering this country are doing so because they want to come here for the right reasons and for peaceful reasons. Yeah.